Chalo. So now Dipanjan, chalo. Wrapping up few things. So guys, we have completed this project Dipanjan till now. Munnar dataset and Airbnb dataset. We will club both the interview perspective in one particular scenario itself. Then we will move on to
Yes.
employee data. We will do these things and we will just wrap up the session. So guys, this particular session is going to be very important from standpoint of view about how you should approach interview for this particular questions. What will be the expectations from you? We will talk about two things. First will be the overall discussion that happens, like from where you get the data set and all those things. And the second would be more like technical point of view, wherein Dipanjan will be showing the knowledge on you. So now we'll come to the basics, guys. Okay. So now there can be a first question wherein people will be more interested in understanding how you did this particular project. You may ask some of the questions related to it, like from where did you get the data set? You should be prepared for that. From where did you get a data set? You can get this data set. It's available in many platforms. It should be available in Kaggle somewhere like that. Okay, so you should be in a position to answer that. Waha se you got the data set. Then you will, why did you choose this particular data set? So yes, you have completed your training, you have completed your education related to that, and now you wanted to start building on that, and you learned that Munnar dataset is a dataset or Airbnb dataset. Munnar dataset is a dataset that can help you to give that first basic leap wherein you get hands on a particular project. Okay, where there are other people who are working along with you, you were working along with it on your own. How did you accomplish it? You used all your knowledge, you used everything that you know that you learned from the training, and you went ahead and executed it. Were there someone else which was helping you? Yes, at times when you required, you were working with your friends, and that is how you did it. But most of the things you did it on your own as well, because it was a good learning. Okay, so these are some of the overall things that comes in your mind. And then if we talk about Airbnb dataset, after doing Munnar dataset, why did you choose Airbnb dataset? It provides you a wider range of data and a wider range of analysis. That is what generally it happens. And from where did you get this data set? Yes, there are ample number of platforms, guys. As we said, there are ample number of platforms. Like in last discussion, we also said and we also showed you, like Kaggle mein mil sakta hai, and there can be other number of platforms. So you can say that probably you got it from somewhere. In fact, we suggested you to download it from there when it comes to this particular data set. So now these would be the first primary questions that a person will be interested to know. So now, Dipanjan, a few questions to you to help understand how do people interact with it. Now, what if the interviewer asked them that was the biggest understanding from a Munnar dataset point of view? Was it easy to do it, or did you face some of the hiccups? What would you like to do it? Would you like to add anything to it?
Sure, Ramesh. So basically, we can say something like this particular project was mainly to understand pandas, okay, Python libraries like pandas to basically play with tabular data, okay, and learn a lot of cleaning and visualization techniques using Python libraries. So that was the main purpose of this particular project, okay. So I think that would be it, Ramesh, for
And Dipanjan,
introduction,
what
right?
would be more interviewers specifically be interested in if he sees at this particular snapshot in front of us in the profile? What would he
Okay.
be interested in understanding, or what can be the questions when he pose when it comes to technical aspects or univariant and this analysis kind of
So
thing and all
questions
this?
here, no, it can range, okay, to a variety of typical questions, okay. Like sometimes if you get a bad interviewer like me, okay, so you may get questions like, so if you have a distribution, okay, so you find the mean of the distribution. Okay, now what will happen if I scale the distribution using a function f? Okay, now the function f can be any function. Okay, so they are like in the difficult range. Okay, so scaling versus its implication on the mean median mode, the central tendency. Okay, so that is one question that is sometimes asked. I'm not sure like if it is very widely asked or not, but yeah, of course, like for the basic questions, you can look into the very basic things like univariate analysis, multivariate analysis, what is central tendency, what are the different metrics that are used to basically measure central tendency, then variance, I mean, like degree of spread, right? Measure of spread. So what are different statistical measures that you can use to understand the degree of spread? So this is one, and then of course scaling. Okay, so by scaling you mean like, let's say there is a distribution. If I apply a function f, what exactly happens to the distribution? Okay, so let's say that you have x is equal to some values. Now if I change it to x square, how does it look like? Okay, you probably might be asked to draw some plots and things like that. So little bit of mathematics will definitely help you. Like any kind of transforms may be asked, like log transform, or sometimes your square or exponential. So it may range. Okay, they can ask any kind of a polynomial or any kind of a function there. Okay, so scaling, and also if you can remember, right? I mean, if you can connect that to your central tendency and your degrees of uh, spread, right? You can connect those two things. It will be very good. Okay, otherwise I don't see many interviewers asking those complicated questions. Okay, and only up to scaling, I think you should be good. Okay. Then also like coming to visualizations. Okay, if you are a data analyst or looking for such roles, they may ask you like what are the different graphs or plots that can be used to analyze XYZ case study, right? Like you want to show the distribution of genders. What kind of plot would you fit in this case? Okay, so these are pretty basic questions that say you have to identify yourself whether it's a univariate or a multivariate. Like in this case that I just told you, it's a univariate, right? I hope you understand what you're going to plot here in this case, right? So you have a gender distribution. How will you basically plot it, right? So can put it in a pie plot or whatever, okay, bar plot, whatever you want. Okay. So those things. Then what are the different measures that you can come up for categorical variables? Okay. Then what is ordinality? This is again an important question that finds its roots in your data science as well. Okay. Ordinality in the sense like whether your data has some range to it, right? Like let's say that you have a feedback of 1 to 5. Okay, types of data and its varieties. Okay, so all kinds of questions like that. And cleaning, of course, like what are the different cleaning techniques that you have done, right? Did you remove it? Did you replace it with a mean? Did you replace it with a mode or a median? And if you did, why you did that? Okay, like if you used a mean, why did you use a mean? Or if you used a median, why did you use a median? Which one is prone to overfitting? Sorry, which one is prone to outliers? Which one is not affected by outliers much? And if there is an effect of outlier, how would you want to remove certain values so that you can use the mean median mode in a better way, right? To get the central tendency. So these things are very useful. And of course, like after you do these things, you have to impute few values, right? Imputation, like if there are some missing values, if you are imputing few values where things are missing, you need to know what exactly are you imputing with, right? Backfill, forward fill, what exactly you're doing there. So that is an important part of your data cleaning and imputation, basically. Other than that, statistics, of course, descriptive statistics is mostly what interviewers ask. Okay, inferential statistics are asked, but not to that extent. Okay, so of course you should know your central limit theorem. Okay, by like I think explained in the class as well. I'm not very sure, but yeah, a central limit theorem. Please do read about it. Okay, you can find it in many YouTube videos if at all you want to look into the very basics of it. Also remember, you definitely get a question on e raised to power minus x square. Okay, sometimes, not definitely, I'll say sometimes you'll get plot e raised to power minus x square. It sounds a pretty complicated one, but if you already have heard about bell curves and things like that, central limit theorem, and it's your Gaussian curve and things like that, you will know what that e raised to power minus x square is. Okay, so they'll start with x square, then e raised to power x, and then suddenly e raised to power minus x square. So people get confused what kind of graph this is. Okay, but if you're already aware of what bell curves are and things like that, you will probably get to know this answer as well, right? So that's an important question. Other than that, I think I've covered mostly everything related to cleaning. Then visualizations. Of course, Power BI
Mhm.
dashboard is a separate story there altogether. Yeah, and then your basic statistic stuff, right? Hypothesis testing is rarely asked, but you should be very well aware with at least central limit theorem. Okay, that is the base, right, for your hypothesis testing. So Yeah, that should be it, I think, Ramesh.
So Dipanjan, we have covered both Munnar and Airbnb.
Hmm. Okay.
We are working for the both will be same, right? And
Yeah.
anything that differentiates it, like why did you choose Airbnb dataset after doing Munnar dataset?
You can definitely talk in a different aspect. Okay, that is completely up to your experience. Like you can
No,
say that.
not from technical point of view. Let the technical point of view be the same, but from
Hmm.
what multiplication things or what different things the dataset provides. Probably we can talk about that.
Actually, it's been some time for me, okay, to be frank, Ravish, that I haven't seen that data set. But anyway, you can say something like, of course, like I know that Airbnb data set is pretty wide, okay. It has
Right.
a lot of
No, we
special
won't go in technicals, Dipanjan.
tables
We
as
won't
well.
go in
Hmm.
technicals. So what your key area is, once you did Munnar dataset, you did
Mhm.
all these things that you have just discussed. Then why is it that you chose Airbnb dataset? So in Airbnb dataset, also you repeated all these things that you did in Munnar dataset. You
Correct.
repeated those things, but yes, the data was so wide that it provided you multiple opportunities and a
For
different way of
data.
looking at things. So that is how you went ahead with Airbnb dataset as well. So this is how you should answer that team. Okay. So now Munnar dataset is also coming in. Airbnb dataset has also come up in. So
Okay,
the key.
if you want, guys, if you want, you can maybe put it something like the Munnar data set had mostly ratings of hotels in the range of 4 to 5, very less threes were there. But in Airbnb, you can say that you had a big population. Okay, I mean big sample, not population, right? So entire not all hotels are enrolled into Airbnb, right? So there you have a better view of the population, right? So if you want to conclude something about the population by just looking into a sample, which data set would you say that is better for you, right? Munnar or Airbnb? Now that is a question that probably you can answer if you have worked on both these data set, right? So these type of things, these are the things that can make the interviewer very much interested towards you, right? When you talk in terms of a technical manner, right? That see, this is what I faced in Munnar, but when I went to Airbnb dataset, the data was like it was having huge number of features there. Okay, by features you mean like 42 columns, right? 42 attributes of each hotel. So those things you can say that it had just your Munnar dataset had let's say just 5 or 6 features, but your Airbnb had 42 features, and then you can also talk that it was a more it was representing to the actual population more compared to your Munnar dataset, which the sample was not very proper there. Probably it was collected by convenience, whatever the hotel were near to one particular tourist spot, they just collected the data for that to create this data set. So these kind of conclusions now is very important, okay, when you talk to an interviewer. Okay, when especially when you say population versus sample, okay, putting some statistical things into your interview so that you know that next question jo puchenge, you know that they are going to ask you questions on central limit theorem. Okay, so you have to guide the interviewer to that way that they ask questions that uh, is something that you already know, right? So that is
Mhm.
how you have to push. Yeah.
So now thing, now you know how it works. And other important thing is those things should be there in your resume, which you are confident about. So first of all, whatever you see as of now, whatever you have worked, you should be in a position to confidently speak about it, and that confidence will come when you actually work on projects. So let this proper things be there. Don't just add up for the sake of adding it. Do it first, then add it. Then you will confidently be in a position to speak. We have seen many cases that there are multiple things that are there in the resume, but when we actually speak, it just takes a couple of minutes to understand whether the person has actually done it or not. So the right way of doing it, first do it. If you have not done anything, then probably eliminate that thing. But ideally speaking, you should do everything and then put it in your resume so that you properly can speak on it. Okay? And now, another thing is, guys, start loving your work. One important key thing is just don't do it for the sake of doing it. Just don't do it for like accomplishing your 8 hours. By doing that, you won't go anywhere. Ultimately, you will be like just earning for 8 hours, and just start loving your work. Then automatically things will happen. And specifically for the few people who are there. We are connecting, like it's actually about 2 hours which are about to get completed. So you are actually showing that rigor. There are a few people who might have got drop off. They might be having some genuine reason. But the thing is, once you start loving your work, then probably time doesn't matter. So build this particular thing in your domain, and that would be helpful for you to work. So like once you love your work, stress and everything will not come into picture. I saw Dipanjan, the way he was explaining now, he really had a tiring day. I know what's happening around. So but now as well, the way he's explaining and putting his all his efforts and thinking about that, that is what actually this thing clicked and triggered to me, guys. Okay, so we all have to do the same thing throughout your career, then you will get the results. नहीं तो बाकी सब तो चीजें चलते ही रहेंगे. Like let that not happen. Love your work, and then things will automatically work will give you yield of that. Chalo Dipanjan, employee data set. Dipanjan, talk about this particular thing, the way we discussed about the earlier project.
Yeah, so this will be probably your internship project, right, Ramesh? Or
No, 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 no.
no?
Internship project में or data mining project and that particular project,
Okay, anyway.
scraping project, data mining project, and coming up with that analysis, that goes as an internship project.
Oh, okay, sorry. So for this, you can say that, okay, so we already played with the CSVs and flat files, but usually in your industry or your like wherever you'll be working, you will be not interacting mostly with flat files. You'll be interacting with something that is more structured, okay, and it gives more flexibility to work with. So SQL, you can put this example, okay, this particular project saying that I worked with SQL. I was able to connect Python to SQL and was able to interact with SQL engine, which is our PostgreSQL engine. Okay, you can call it a SQL engine or a SQL DB. Okay, anything works there. Right, so you are able to connect to PostgreSQL DB with your Python, and you are able to execute few scripts there. Okay, and not only that, you are able to also analyze the employee data set, uh, trying to come up with multiple questions that can be answered looking into the data set, which was provided in the DB. Right now, what were the things that you use? Okay, coming to the interview perspective, they will ask you like, how did you basically connect to the PostgreSQL server, right? So that is one question that they may ask, but again, that is very like very few people ask that. Like, what is a client? What is a server, and things like that. Okay, so that is something that you may be prepared if you have to answer a developer kind of an interview. Okay, so probably in as a developer, people may ask you these questions. Okay, but for a data analyst role, they'll be more interested towards the data. Okay, like where did you get the data from? So you'll say it was there in the DB. Now, when they say how did the things land up in the DB, so you can say that it was already created. Okay, so all the scripts are already available to create that DB for now. But of course, like in a data engineering pipeline, it gets picked up from a variety of places that you can also explain. Okay, like it comes from either an application, some API hits, can be some scraped data, it can be from other, uh, can be 100 sources, right? Like I explained in the very first class. Okay, so from there you basically took those things and put it in the SQL. Okay, usually that happens, but here you had everything created. And on top of that, you did, of course, you learned pandas very well, that you could interact with SQL and use pandas in some places and SQL itself in few places to get a refined version of the data. Okay, so the next question mostly would be completely towards pandas. Okay, like they'll give you a sample question in pandas only. And I think rest of the things are all covered here. Only thing that is extra is connecting to the SQL DB, right? Other than that, I think pretty much everything is has been
Wrangling
covered.
and reducing data
Uh,
footprint. That is what we did other than our first two projects here.
yes, so there is something called data wrangling now. That is what, yeah, sorry, Ramesh, I missed that point. Okay, so wrangling. This is a good question sometimes being asked. Okay, like they can say when things you have written things, right, like wrangling. So they will ask you, what is wrangling? Can you explain what data did you wrangle, or like how did you do the data wrangling job? Okay, so you can say that there were multiple tables having the same column technically, but it was named in a different way, right? Like let's say ID, and then there is somewhere employee ID in another place, right? Because ID in your employee table actually means employee ID, right? But in a different table, let's say department table, your employee ID is different than department ID, where ID in department table will mean department ID, but for employee ID, there has to be employee ID, right? So those things are data wrangling when you're trying to basically compress the data by identifying which columns are actually the same column, right? And then trying to join the table and coming up with a very master data kind of a table, right? So this is an important thing. And then this is again very important, reducing data memory footprint. Okay, now for a data scientist, okay, now I was talking about, of course, like for a data engineer as well, they may ask you, what is this data memory footprint reduction that you have done? So you can, this again, I think has come up in the above thing also, right? I think there also I have written this. I'm not very sure, but of course you should make sure that each column that you are working with should have the optimized data structure being used. Okay, you should not use a string data structure when you're just storing an int value there, right? So it's just blowing your memory, right? You don't require that extra memory that you're trying to use, but you're still allocating that much memory. You don't need that, right? So those kind of data memory footprint reduction can be done in both like pandas and even in SQL when you create the tables, right? So you identify that these tables should not be containing few things, uh, like strings should not be there, or float is not necessary in few places. You can simply keep an int there, right? So those things you can identify and you can talk about those things, right? That is an important thing. Then I think others are all discussed, right? Fetch data from Postgres. Yeah, I think others are all discussed.
From where did they get this data set? Like these are the hands-on project, right?
Yeah, you
These
can
are
say that.
self-accomplished projects. So from where did they get this data set? Because there is a
Correct.
schema and dump file on that. So probably someone might have provided it to them, right? Or how is it going to work?
So to be frank, okay, this data is mostly for your MySQL. Okay, so people who start training on SQL, they usually start with MySQL with this employee DB data, right? It will be available in, I don't remember the name of that site, but yeah, you get it for training purposes, right? So employee DB database, sorry, employee DB dumps are available for learning SQL in AdventureWorks. I remember that. I think AdventureWorks. So you took that, since you are already familiar with PostgreSQL, you took that and then you converted to a PostgreSQL script and then you use that, right? So you can tell it that way that MySQL scripts were already available. So I just took it and converted it to a PostgreSQL script because I wanted to learn PostgreSQL in a better way because it had more advantage compared to other SQL servers, right? You can talk about it, like it uh, can check which one is better. So PostgreSQL has some plus, okay, that you can uh, figure out, okay, just by searching here and there. It can store JSONs and things like that, okay, so you can learn about it, PostgreSQL.
Dipanjan, see in this particular thing, MySQL
Hmm.
employee database, they have given this particular link.
I
So
think it will take you to AdventureWorks only. Can you go click to that website or something? I'm not sure. But anyway,
to
there are
dev
multiple places.
MySQL.
Okay. Okay, in MySQL also you will get it. You will not get the PostgreSQL version because I think I created it for you guys to directly use it. But you can say that you created it yourself. Okay, it's nothing but just loading those things into your PostgreSQL, and I made a backup of it. Okay, created a SQL file.
Okay. What is the name that you were saying, Dipanjan?
AdventureWorks. That is pretty. Wait, let me check. AdventureWorks is what people usually start.
Sample
AdventureWorks
database of
database.
SQL Server.
Yeah, AdventureWorks database for employee DB.
Now Adventure Works database for employee DB.
Yeah, you'll get it here in the sample databases.
And it is for SQL, both the files like SQL schema and both dump will also be there. Okay,
You,
guys. So
say that schema file and dump file, yeah, you will get it separately only everywhere. So you just took the MS SQL or MySQL one and you created one for PostgreSQL and kept it as a backup. But yeah, you did everything like you basically transformed things from MS SQL flavor to PostgreSQL flavor. Okay, that you can say.
Mhm. Okay. So guys, now you understood. And anything more that you want to add to it, Dipanjan?
I don't think here, see, the questions mostly will be on pandas. Okay, and of course, like if you're a data scientist, they will be more pushy towards pandas and analysis and things like that, right? So distributions, analysis. Other than that, I think we are good. Okay, there is nothing much. Memory footprint is one interesting thing that I don't know, like for a 2 year, 3 years experience person, they'll go much into detail or not. But uh, for someone who is having more than 3 to 4 years experience, it becomes very important that they look into these factors. Okay, so if you put these things in your resume, it is going to look very good. Okay, so that is the reason we have put this.
And what challenges did you face while working on this data set?
You can
Aditya,
say that.
Aditya can talk about what he faced today.
Yeah, you can talk about that. And what also you can say that what you learned, right?
Yeah. So in fact, Aditya, now you can say that you were trying to do it in this particular thing, it didn't work. Then you did it from this, and you realize that ideally speaking, it's always good to work from this. Is that good? Is that okay, Dipanjan?
Yes, you can say that because you
No,
I
I
hope you
actually
identified that.
I did the data cleaning as told by Deepanjan actually how to clean the data and then how to visualize the data actually after cleaning the data.
No,
So
about employee data set. About employee
employee
data
data
set.
set I got stuck in between regarding
Right.
this.
So that turns out to be your challenge.
Right,
So
right,
what were the challenges did you face while working on employee data set? So that turns out to be your primary observation.
right, right,
You can say that probably you ended up in experiencing this, then you thought about this, then you realized that okay, it worked good or something like that. Can this be said, Dipanjan?
Yeah, of course.
It's
This
true. It's
definitely
better
should
to
be said.
avoid that
No, it
because
should be definitely said. If we ask, I think it is good. Okay, you can say this. So maybe sometimes the interviewer also will be like, "Acha, aisa hua kya?" I don't know. Like, who knows?
what if
Okay.
the interviewer says that why it didn't
You're on
work?
mute, I think, Ramesh.
No, I'm not on. Can you hear me now?
Or am I not able to hear? Aditya,
yes,
can you
we
confirm?
can hear you. Yeah, we
And
can
then
hear
what
you.
if the interviewer says that why
Oh,
didn't
I
it
think
work
I'm not
there?
able
It
to
should
hear.
have worked there.
1 minute.
Can you hear me, Dipanjan? Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Dipanjan.
yes, Ramesh, I'm able to hear you.
Dipanjan, I think he's facing some issues. You are on mute, Dipanjan.
Yeah, now I'm able to hear you. I don't know what exactly.
And what if the recruiter says, then what was the reason? Did you identify the solution? Did you identify the reason why that was happening?
Yeah, actually, that copy command is not a command that has to be like it's not a SQL command as such. Okay, it is a command in your PSQL client. Okay, so it is not a SQL command. So it did not run. So instead of copy, you can simply run insert there. It will work. Okay. So insert with commas with a normal script will work. But
So,
copy is something that is PSQL based.
so guys, whatever you speak in the interview, you should be in a position to back it up with your knowledge. Don't speak about something which you can't take it to closure. So, first of all, Pura, things actually do it on your own, then you will get that confidence and you will be in a position to talk. And talk about only those things that can make the recruiter feel that okay, this person has really done this. He is a person who tried to do it. This. He's that experimental person. He has that ability to see and analyze things from different perspectives, and these things will give you an upper hand. Chalo. ठीक है Dipanjan.
Okay.
Shall we wrap up?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can wrap up.
Ramesh, thank you very much. Deepanchan,
Thank you,
you.
Aditya.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dipanjan.
thank you,
Thank you, Suraj, Manikanta. Chalo. So we'll see you on Monday. Today is already Sunday. We'll see you on Monday, that is tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. We are going to continue the employee data set. We'll give you some of the solutions to the answers that you are supposed to execute. And then next week is going to be more towards machine learning. So be pumped up for that. We'll connect tomorrow 8:30, guys. So thank you, Dipanjan. Thanks for the time. Dipanjan, we'll connect
you, thank
somewhere,
you.
maybe tomorrow evening or somewhere.
Sure. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's.
Take care on those things as of now at your end. But we'll somewhere speak on the normal call. Let's see. Okay, chalo guys. Chalo, thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you all. Bye.
Yeah.